Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Brent McGrath, and I'm the host of Talks and Discussions, What Matters and What Doesn't Matter. And today we have a nice young lady here from Guadalajara, Mexico. Her name is Elena Blackaller. How are you doing, Elena?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, you're very welcome. This is going to be really interesting because this young lady, when she started this adventure, she had no experience whatsoever. So whoever's out there and think that because you have no experience, you can't do something, listen to this young lady. She'll set you straight. Okay. First question, young lady. How did you go from being an industrial designer to building software for insurance companies?
Yes. Well, I had a class where it was about entrepreneurship, and I was the designer for this entrepreneurship group. And I was learning with them, and they were building the software, and they were having these presentations with investors. And I just remember feeling so excited. So I decided, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but eventually I want to have my own company, and I want to run it, and I want to handle everything, thinking that it would be simple. Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
That makes a lot of sense. It usually isn't that simple.
No, never.
Okay. So how did you come up with the name for your company now, PAGOMED?
Yes. Well, as I was saying at the beginning, my mom is a doctor, and she actually handles all of the accounts for my family. Both of my parents are doctors. So my father would work and my mom would be in charge of all of the payments and keeping track of the work my father was doing.
Okay.
And once a week, she would have this huge table filled with paper. And I remember one day, like, she looking at me and say, solve this. You want to do something? Solve this. So I designed a website where a doctor would only have to click a couple of buttons and have everything solved automatically. And we had to do something that was very, very easy for them. Right. So we named it after PAGOMED, which in Spanish translates Pago Médico, and the only goal of this is to help doctors collect their invoices from insurance companies. Really straightforward.
Okay, that's okay. So without any formal training, yes, how is it to deal with or negotiate with these big companies?
By making tons of mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes were really embarrassing because I would think that these big companies and big insurance companies would really relate to me and the problems that doctors have. And you have to know that everyone has their own problems and each company has their own goals and targets.
Right.
And you have to respect them. So instead of trying to sell my vision of an ideal world, I have to learn how to match their vision with mine. And I had to polish my pitch to create a better product for them, but that also respected my original vision of my company.
Okay, and I take it, how long did it take you to learn that?
Well, the company, we launched it in 2017, so it's about 4 years almost. The first couple of years, we got the door shut on our faces.
Oh, yes.
Like, who are you? Like, why do you dare to talk to us? Then the Mexican InsurTech Association was born, and having them as a backup and saying something like, hey, we're actually members of this association. We know what we're doing. And having a couple of contacts introducing us helped a lot. And they would tell us, be careful, don't say this, don't say this, don't say this. And if everything goes well, they will shut the door 2 months afterwards.
So then, I guess you can't, I don't know if you can name the company, but when did you start to be accepted by these insurance companies so you could get your foot in the door and start your program?
I think it got 1 year after the Mexican InsurTech Association was born, but also when we were having a mentor who was an ex-worker of one of the largest reinsurance companies in the world. So
Okay.
insurance companies have to answer to reinsurance companies. And the moment that we said, hey, this product will help you because this big company, which is bigger than yours, is actually saying, hey, this works, and it will save money and it will create a better product. That's when this company is starting to accept the possibility of working with us. Something else that really helped is that we were having tons of requests from doctors. And usually these doctors would have to go to the insurance companies, and insurance companies have really long and difficult processes. And once they realized that we were actually helping them with half of the work, then they were sending doctors our way. So we would be able to help them solve all of this problem. The first time I remember having a doctor say, oh yes, this big insurance company actually sent me to you, I was like, woo, I made it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it felt great.
So how do you know what you're doing is worth doing?
That actually took me, I think, years to figure out, because I remember when I was just starting with my mom and Adrian, our CTO. And for me, it was something like I had to prove something, and I had to be the one who built this big company and prove the world that it could be done. And I attached myself to the success of this. And when things go wrong, you take a hit, and you have to know that, okay, this is not me. I can improve it, but it's not me. So it was a moment when I really sat down and thought, why am I doing this? And for me, it's if it's a purpose, if it's something that increases the value for someone else, then it's worth doing. If it's just to feed your ego, I mean, you can do it, but it's probably gonna to be really painful when it doesn't work. So that's how I know when it actually helps someone else.
Well, you know, it's for me, it's amazing because you're such a young lady in the big scheme of things, but you're very knowledgeable, because this is a very good way to serve and to let other people know that you got to watch what you're going to get into, but make sure you're getting into it for the right reasons. Because if you're getting into it for your ego, you're going to crash and burn usually. Yeah,
it happened to me. Like there was a time when I said like, oh, I'm a failure, I can't do anything. And you need to have like a good support team. So like, hey, like, doesn't matter. Like if it breaks, just start again. It's not the end of the world. And you stop taking things so personally. And I struggle with that a bit, but now I can say like, hey, this is worth it. And if it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today, Elena. Thanks for all your advice, because I know there's a lot of young ladies out there just like yourself who would like to step out onto the world stage and do something for other people, but they're a little scared to do it. So I think that you've opened the door a little bit today.
I'm still scared. You will always be scared, but it's also funny. So like, go with it.
Well, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day as well.
Okay, bye-bye.